Christopher William here, of my direct opinion. And all I can say is Canada is in trouble, and the voters have some extremely tough choices to make. It doesn't matter where you look, there doesn't seem to be a perfect answer. So I'm going to forget about the three main parties and just talk about two other parties. So let me explain. Of the main parties, the NDP are garbage. They're just a waste of time. The Liberals are traitors to Canada and are hell-bent on destroying it. And the PCs are basically baby Liberals. Now, they are better than the Liberals. So if the PCs get in power, at least we don't have the Liberals in. But I don't think it's going to save Canada. So I want to briefly speak about the two alternative parties. I don't want to get into heavy, in-depth discussions today. Instead, I am merely going to touch on their policies so that you have a starting point to examine these parties. So the NCA, which is the National Citizens Alliance, has some interesting policies or platforms. They want efficient and effective government. Well, we all want that. I'll let you look into it. They want lower and less taxation. We all want that. They want to restore Canadian democracy. And this is interesting because they want to introduce a legislation so that there is a way to recall politicians when they're screwing us. They want a strong immigration policy, totally different than what we have now. Maybe when they're saying a temporary pause, that's a good thing. I'm not really sure about the restoring the Bank of Canada Act, but I do like the fact that we're not going to lend money to the commercial banks and the corporate globalists, what is that, misinformation and control over federal politics. That's an awesome idea. Now, in addition to the platform that the National Citizens Alliance are presenting to the public, they have a lot of policy statements on a lot of different topics. And I find this quite interesting. I don't think I've ever seen a political party have this much analysis into so many different topics. Perhaps all parties should have this. So it's up to you to take a look at this a little bit more and further in depth and study it. I wish their leader was a little bit stronger, more dynamic. But maybe we can take what's offered here and apply it to the future if they're not viable for this election. Now I would like to touch lightly on the PPC, People's Party of Canada. And I'm not going to go too in depth on this party because they're more typical of a mainstream political party in Canada. Of course, Mad Max is their leader, and that's probably why. But take a look what's on the screen here and what their policies are. I mean, a fair gun policy, foreign policy, standing up for rural Canadians, shrinking the government. Now read into depth of this. There's one thing in particular that caught my eye, you might say, and that's their immigration policy. It worries me quite a bit. They want to reduce the number of immigrants to 250,000? Hell, I don't want any immigrants for the first year of a new party. And then we need to have a discussion as to how many immigrants we should invite into our country. Their idea seems to be right on how they want to enforce the immigration policy. Okay, everyone, you'll be happy to hear I'm going to shut up now. I really want you to investigate the parties. All I wanted to do was just bring you up to speed as to what their platforms were, and then you can compare and see what needs to be done to encourage both these parties, because we really need alternative parties in Canada, and these are the only two viable options. Christopher William, signing out.